Hey everybody, it's Robot here from Vespa Motorsport, scooterwest.com here in San Diego, California. If you've been following our YouTube channel for the last couple of years, you've probably seen this scooter I'm sitting on. It's our Vespa Everywhere scooter, and the marketing idea behind it when we built this bike a little over 3 years ago was to allow customers to use it and take photos with it, ride it to faraway places, and just as a general loaner bike, you know, for maybe a customer wants to try out a GTS, we'd have this bike available for them and kind of demonstrate some of the accessories that you could put on the GTS 300. Well, now that it's been 3 years, it's been well used. It's got nearly 9,000 miles on it. Still low miles for a GTS, they last quite a long time. Just recently had a GTS that was the same year as this traded into our shop with 53,000 miles. The guy traded on another GTS. He was using the scooter for courier service. Kind of shows the durability of the bike. Cosmetically, it looks worse than this bike, but I want to talk about some of the things that have happened to this bike over the years. So if you want to know more about our marketing campaign for Vespa Everywhere, hence use a Vespa for everything, you could go anywhere, everywhere with a Vespa, as I've proven in many of my trips all over the North American continent and a little bit in Europe as well. You can totally use them for whatever kind of travels you need. You don't need a big touring bike. You can do it just as well on a Vespa GTS 300. But back to the Vespa Everywhere bike. If you watch, I think it's podcast episode 13 of our Vespa Motorsport podcast, you can either listen to it or watch it on YouTube. Bo Hufford was the creator of this idea, and he was the one that came up with the idea to put this bike together. And you can watch that podcast, kind of summarizes why we built this bike. I think it was about 2 years ago we published that podcast. But now it's time to move on to something new. We want to start with a brand new GTS 300. So coming soon, I'll probably do some videos of a 2020 GTS that we'll have very shortly. Right now it's almost May 2019, getting close to have them here, already available in Europe, of course. But this bike's gonna go up for sale, and I just want to show you all the features, all the road rashes on it, and let you know a little bit about it if you haven't seen this bike up in person or followed our previous videos on this scooter here. So as everybody knows, breaking the bad news, you should always just get it over with, do it first. So let's start with the bad. It was recently laid down by a good friend of ours. I think he said something like a car cut him off in a U-turn. I don't know what the situation is. Doesn't matter, went down. But you can see it kind of got the trim pretty good. And what we're gonna do is replace the trim on both sides, hammer the dents out, and probably feather that in with some paint, buff out the scuff on the wheel. You can see the tire mark from the car tire that clipped the scooter. Buff that right out of the rim, at least. Pretty simple fix. We'll be able to make it look pretty good. Make it look about 80%. You know, obviously to make it look 100%, you'd be repainting it. Actually, it would be like 110% because the paint finish has a lot of little road nicks from long distance highway road travel. So we'll fix that up, and if you look at the other side, there's a little bit bigger boo-boo where the cowl made contact with the pavement. Same with the crash bars. I can tell you this is the original Piaggio crash bar. This is less damage than you would typically see if you had no crash bars. You see usually typically like a 10-inch circle of damage. This cover up with a nice sticker. It's not dented in. You could paint the whole rear of it. A couple little scratches on the top case. But that's pretty much the bad. Doesn't affect the bike handling wise, doesn't affect it mechanically, but kind of makes it ugly. Just needs some TLC to get this thing looking pretty again. So let's move on to the good news. This bike's going to be at a bargain price, considering it's got some damage that's been repaired, but it's loaded with accessories. You know, the white and red may not be your favorite, but it's pretty simple to repowder coat these accessories in another color. It's got the Foco front rack, the Piaggio windscreen, the tinted version. It's got the Bizzetti dog lever style levers, powder coated in silver. Moving on down, you can see tinted lenses with LED lights, same with the headlight being an LED, one of our LED products on there. It's got the 13-inch MP3 Your Band wheels, which aren't available in the United States, but we import those wheels and sell quite a few sets. They've been powder coated metallic silver. Look pretty sharp. We did a different style on this bike. We put really large tires on it. We put the 130/70 13s on both the front and rear. Kind of gives it a big tire look. And believe it or not, the tire does not rub on the fender even when you compress the suspension all the way. Of course, the speed calibration was off by like 12 miles an hour. Normally, if you had a GTS, they might say you're going 90 miles an hour. That means 80 miles an hour. They're a good 8% off up the higher speed, optimistic. Well, we installed the SIP digital speedometer and we were able to calibrate the front tire exactly to the speed you're going. Of course, it's got lots of other functions, the typical fuel gauge, temperature. It's also got outside temperature. We use the auxiliary temperature sensor for outside temperature, RPMs, lots of other fun stuff. It's got the RAM mount for your phone. It's got the heated grips. These are the Coso Apollos grips. You can even see how much they've been used. There's some wear on them, but they functionally work great for touring. We've let a lot of people borrow the scooter, and after they ride this, they're like, oh, I want the heated grips. It's got one of the first glove box bags that we've sold. It's held up really well. You can see a little bit of fading on the zipper. But this bike is mostly out in the weather. We put it out in front of our business, and it's pretty much, you can consider it's been outside for 2 years, 3 years of its life. We never really left it inside the showroom. It's always been out at the curb. So you could kind of see some of the weather damage that would typically happen to a couple-year-old Vespa. The paint, for the most part, looks pretty good. The pinstriping, other than the damage that we talked about and got over with. It's got the rear Your Band wheel to match. The accessory top case, this is nearly $400 nowadays to buy this top case new. The rear Piaggio original crash bars have been powder coated in white. And a couple other little styling touches here and there. It's got floor mat, white foot pegs. The rear lights are all painted red with extra LEDs in them, so they look pretty sharp. There's extra lighting on it. It's a 2014 GTS 300 Super. I would consider the 2014 model to be very reliable. Sometimes 2015, 2016 had some little issues with the ECU that made them a little more difficult. They're not quite as reliable as these. This is like, I would consider one of the more reliable of the years of GTS 300s. Don't get me wrong, 2019, 2018, they've been great. I haven't seen any issues with those. If you're looking to buy the latest generation with the ABS brakes. And the 2020, we'll see how that comes out. Got an updated motor that puts out more power, so I don't believe it should have any problems based on how many cylinder kits we put on these bikes. Be similar power to the Melosi setup. So pretty cool setup for a bargain price. Can be up for sale. Contact our sales department, 619-280-1718. I think it's extension 604. You could talk to TC or Alex. They'll have details on the price of it and if it's still available. Last time I did a video that was going to advertise some used scooter, the Stella, that thing sold before I was even able to make the video for the scooter saying it was for sale. I just rehabbed it in the video and it was gone. So wish I was ahead of the game, could get these up sooner, or other ones where I build the bike and then we'd put them up for sale. Help support our business. We don't make any money on these YouTube videos. I don't monetize them. So buying from us obviously helps us. Kind of some shameless advertising, but I love our shop. Follow us on Instagram, Vespa Motorsport. Follow me, Robot Vespa. Find us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. pretty much 50,000 subscribers, one of the largest Vespa related channels on the YouTube universe. Until next time, Robot here, Vespa Motorsport.